Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Forgive my slightly casual attire, but I just finished my morning swimming and yoga ritual. And I was thinking about something that I've been reflecting a lot on since I turned 40 recently. And that is, to what degree are we honest with ourselves about how much we really want what we say we want? As for me, I have throughout my life had many different dreams that I said I desperately wanted, and many things that I had in my life that I said I didn't want. But when I reflect on it, I would like to consider how much my behaviors and actions were actually congruent with achieving the things that I wanted and getting rid of the things that I didn't really want. And I would ask the same thing of you. So take a second and think about one thing that you really, really, really want, a career goal, a great personal relationship, great fitness, whatever it may be. And think about one thing that you really don't want. And that could be, a bad relationship, financial pressure, stress, depression, anything, any area of life. And I'm going to use an example for myself, and hopefully that will be relatable to you. So, for most of my life, I suffered from what I considered to be a chronic level of anxiety. And I always said that I couldn't stand it and I wanted inner peace and I wanted to be happy and joyful all the time and cheerful and charging for my dreams and really connected to a deep, deep level of my truest self and the peace and direction that comes with that, the passion. And, I never felt like being anxious and constantly fearful and worried was really congruent with that state that I was hoping to achieve. And so for years, I tried many different things and many practices and many different therapies, and they all worked to some degree. And I'm very grateful to all those who helped me along the path. But as I reflect on it, I note that my behaviors were often not very aligned with solving the problem of anxiety. So for years, I smoked, I at times drank excessively, my sleep hours were not great, they were very erratic. I was a little bit sloppy with my daily meditation practice. I didn't really have a daily yoga practice. I swam when I felt like it. I ran when I felt like it. But I didn't really have any discipline in the physical and mental practices that are really required to help dissipate anxiety and move oneself towards that authentic state of great composure and peace and passion. So I would ask you, with the one thing that you most dream of, or the one thing that you most would like to remove from your life, how congruent are your behaviors with your goals? And it's a little bit of an uncomfortable question because we tend not to really like to be too honest with ourselves about things like this. And denial is very popular these days. And we get caught in a cycle of not really being clear and honest with ourselves about how we're spending our time and whether we're choosing behaviors that are actually helping us achieve what we want. And then, once we do get a little bit more honest with ourselves and say, well, actually my diet is not that great, so no wonder I'm not losing the weight. Instead of using that as a catalyst to change ourselves for the better, most people use that as another reason to fall into self-hatred and self-loathing, where they say, oh, my diet's not great, or I'm not exercising as much as I should. Now I feel bad about myself because of that, and so I'm going to go eat some more, or, in my case, I'm going to go drink some more because I know that I shouldn't be doing this, and I feel bad about it, and I feel guilty about it, so then I guess I'll just go do some more of it. And then, we have the never-ending cycle of just getting worse and worse and further away from our true goals, which means we're further and further away from our true self, further away from the path that would be optimal in terms of happiness and joy and peacefulness. So instead of living in denial about how we behave, and instead of sinking into self-loathing because we're not doing as much as we could, what about going right down the middle and just being honest with ourselves and making an honest assessment of where we are in all these most important areas of our life? Honest about the changes that we need to make in our own behavior, and then not staying and resting in the fact that we're not doing it optimally, but using the fact that we realize it, using that awareness as a catalyst for change. So when I realized that despite all these practices that I have done, and all the great teachers and all the great books and everything, when I realized that I actually wasn't doing on a day-to-day basis what any teacher or book would tell you that you need to do in order to mitigate and reduce anxiety, I realized that, by words, I said I wanted so much to be peaceful and to be happy, but that I wasn't doing it. I wasn't really taking the time and having the discipline. Ooh, that's a scary word to a lot of us. The discipline to actually achieve what I wanted to achieve. And that was a kind of a startling realization, because I considered myself someone who had tried very hard to achieve those goals, and I kind of felt like, a little bit sorry for myself, and I was kind of doing the victim thing about, wow, poor me, I've spent all this time doing all these things, and look, still I don't sleep well, and still I'm anxious, and I know it's reducing my potential and not getting me where I really want to go. But it took years for me to come to an honest point with myself where I said, Matt, if you really look at your behaviors, you're not walking your own talk. You're lying to yourself. And then to use that quickly to say, okay, I'm lying to myself. What do I really need to do to make changes? And I started slowly. I started doing a fixed morning routine. I changed my sleep hours. I reduced the negative habits that I knew were holding me back. The reality is, if you ask yourself what you really want and what you really don't want, and then you ask yourself, what am I doing that's helping me achieve these goals? What am I doing that's blocking me? What am I doing that's keeping things in my life that I don't really want, whether that's feelings or people or jobs? You'll be surprised if you ask yourself those questions, how much you already know about what you're doing that's helping you and what you're doing that's sabotaging you. And you deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be happy and vital and vivacious and peaceful and have great relationships and great careers that we wake up excited to do every day and vibrant health. We deserve these things, and these things are there waiting for us. But we sabotage ourselves with all sorts of behaviors that come out of a root feeling that we're not worthy of all those happy things. So really give some thought that if you came from a perspective of your most true self, your highest self that believes that you deserve to be the most joyful, fullest expression of you, what would you change? What would you change, and what could you do today to clean out the unworthy things in your life and start over again? Because the reality is the past doesn't really matter, except as a platform for learning. And the learning is, I've done it this way for however many years, I'm tired of it, and now I'm going to change it. It's not, I've done it this way for however many years, and let me feel bad about that and just keep doing it forever. Because the truth is, the more time goes by, the more we feel regret about these ways that we sabotage ourselves, and the more time we spend in unhappiness when we could be experiencing life at a much, much higher level. So I hope this has been helpful. It's something that I'm going through at the moment and really enjoying the effects of. So I'm going through the journey with you. And once again, if you'd like to talk more, please send me a message at the email address below, and I would be more than happy to hear from you. And many blessings. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.